let you in on a little secret that artists already understand. Every time you create something, be it a video, a painting, a piece of writing, or even when you're getting ready in the morning, you're taking something that did not exist and making it real. That's manifestation. Not in the abstract, wishful thinking kind of way that you see online, but in the literal sense. Thought becomes form. Imagination becomes matter. Identity becomes visible. And once you see this connection, you realize something powerful. You don't learn manifestation, you practice creation. In this video, I want to show you how the artistic process mirrors manifestation almost perfectly, and why learning to create things might be the fastest way to change your reality. Creation first starts in the realm of the intangible. Ideas start as feelings, impulses, random flashes that you see in your mind and get captured by and want to explore further. The language of manifestation and the language of art require you to use the same mechanism if you really think about it. Things start in the mental plane, the realm of the invisible, and then through the process of creation or manifestation, they are made tangible. In this way, we can see the mental preparation that happens when you first are given the vision that you want to create as a mental rehearsal that shapes physical outcomes. Reality always exists twice. First in the mind, and then in the real world. Real world. Because if anything, the mental plane is realer than the physical. But we'll extrapolate on that further. I'm going to share with you a story of how I first started to happen upon this concept. And it's not really a concept, more of like just saw the patterns and made that connection. I make my own clothes, and when you first start out with the skill, you don't usually see things through to the way you imagine them in your head. There is this learning curve or this process of developing your skills that happens. I think often people will say that your taste doesn't match your ability at first, and you kind of have to work your way up to that. And then there was this point at this time I had been sewing for a few years now, and I'm totally self-taught. I learned through books and online and just, having fun with my machines. And there was this red dress that I really wanted to make once I had gotten this beautiful 70s sewing pattern that I had found online. And I was like, I'm gonna make this dress. And I saw the image in my mind, and then I found the perfect color fabric, and at the end of this process, I had something that nearly exactly mirrored what I had envisioned in my mind at first. And I was holding it in my hand because I had taken the steps to make the thing. And that's when I realized this is exactly what they say manifestation is it not? And it was in this way that I realized that it's the action that creates the belief. So if you've been in the manifestation space for a while, which I would assume that you have been if you found this video, but if you haven't, we'll just take a little moment to explain something called the law of assumption. So this was something that was coined by Neville Goddard, and it essentially means that you assume that a certain outcome exists even before you have evidence of it. And this is what you're doing when you're taking action to make something. You have no proof at the beginning that it's going to become the thing that you see in your mind, but you're acting anyway and consciously building what it was that you saw in your mind. And that is what builds your identity. It's actually a series of beliefs that lead to actions that then compound because you're reinforcing the beliefs by taking the action, if that kind of makes sense. They're like ping-ponging off of each other, if you will. confidence follows movement. So, for example, if someone is afraid of public speaking, they're likely not going to get over their fear until they become somebody who speaks in public. And the first few times may be clunky and awkward if it's really a phobia that they have, but it is through that practice and repetition of doing it, even if they might suck, where they start to learn how to get better. Maybe they'll watch back some of the videos of them speaking in public and take away certain things so that they can hone in on their craft and make their output or reality closer match what it was that they originally saw in their head. You can kind of see it as your nervous system building tolerance for the unknown, because it's really when you get your nervous system on board, that's like the missing piece that allows you to snap into things and have this flow state that you can achieve. And once you're in flow, you're much more able to actualize your vision in a way that nearly mirrors, if not perfectly mirrors, what it is that you saw in your head. Creation trains your body to trust movement before certainty. I really see this parallel, especially with the nervous system piece in the practice of yoga, because a lot of the times it's not only that your muscles are stiff or that your bones don't have mobility. A lot of it is that your nervous system feels unsafe in a position that it hasn't held. It's unknown. You have to train your body to feel safe in this position, and that's what allows you to open to the full expression of that pose eventually. But that takes practice, and that's why yoga is referred to as practicing yoga. But you're seeing the connection here, right? Iteration is the real magic. This starts with imperfect drafts. Remember when you were in school and you had to write a persuasive letter and they made you, at least when I was in school, we had to handwrite our first draft, and then we would edit that and refine the piece until we made it more concise and were better able to articulate our thoughts and put them onto the paper in a way that allowed for clear understanding of the reader, with all, and also obviously with the intention of persuading them to our viewpoint. And this means that manifestation is actually an iterative identity shift. Stay with me. Persistence is actually what beats intensity. So if I wanted to become somebody who made beautiful, high quality garment pieces, I would have a much better chance of doing that by persistently working on my craft and taking what I see up here and applying it physically than I would having a single day of intense research and working on one thing until I burnt myself out and didn't want to pick it back up again. Small wins compound over time, and this is how you start to actually shift your identity to that of a creator, because now I am using my mental force to think about myself as a creator, and I'm now carving out time consistently out of my days to actually do that, which reinforces this. And this is backed also by science, because the neural pathways are strengthened the more you use them. So when you think about something and then you actually apply that with action, both your mind and your nervous system are working in harmony to update your identity to this new identity of somebody who makes things. The key difference between artists and non-artists are that artists expect mess. They are comfortable in the uncomfortability that they're probably not going to be good at something immediately when they pick it up. Sometimes people have innate gifts, but even those people could stand to refine their gifts by taking the time to actually hone their craft and get better at it, by looking at the first piece of art that they created and thinking about what really worked well and what they would like to change or update their skills on so that they are better able to make something that more closely mirrors the vision that they had in their mind. Manifestation is not instant, it's responsive. Now that you have embraced the mess long enough to see it through to its conclusion a few times, you have now become the person who creates the thing. As we mentioned, or as I mentioned before, identity changes through repetition. Your self-perception shifts every time you complete the thing. When you take the time to write, if you want to be a writer, or sing and practice that craft over and over again. I could give you a multitude of examples, but I'm pretty sure you understand. That's what actually shifts your identity, is the embodied action. Then external responses shift. Maybe you weren't the best singer when you started out, but you've been practicing at it and working on your tone and singing from the diaphragm, as they say. And now people are saying, oh, you know what? You got some chops because you stuck with it. Embodiment precedes outcome. So we have to show up as the person who makes the thing and actually make it. And then we'll have the thing at the end. And that's kind of the way you should approach manifestation. You don't manifest a new life. You become a new self. And life reorganizes around that. Proof changes belief. And what is belief? It's just an opinion that you wholeheartedly accept. So let that sink in. You're allowed to change your opinion. And one of the quickest ways you're able to do that and have it actually permeate your subconscious is when you have proof of this new thing that you want yourself to accept. Finished creations become evidence that you are a creator. This evidence rewires your beliefs, permeates the subconscious, makes it super easy because I have tangible evidence now that I'm the person who makes the thing. This belief is what drives further action. So now I'm like, I want to do this. This is me now. I am the person who makes things. I enjoy doing it. I want to be consistent. Identity wants to be consistent. So once you've been kind of brainwashing yourself, if you will, with these actions long enough, they'll just become habits. Like, we're talking about art, but this applies to everything because that's the whole point, is like it's all the same. When you start going to the gym, it might be uncomfortable, you're gonna be sore, and you don't really like it that much. But if you stick with it, eventually you'll start to really enjoy the endorphins that are released from going to the gym, and you'll be like waiting until 5:30 comes around on Wednesdays so that you could go crush a back workout. And that's because the evidence has rewired your mentality, and now you just accept that you're a person who goes to the gym. There is no resistance there. That's your identity. And the same thing happens with everything else. These small wins compound until this new identity is ingrained within you. Every finished creation becomes proof that you can shape reality. Oh, if there's one thing that you take away from this video, I want it to be this. You don't need to wait until you believe in yourself to change your life. You just need to start creating. Because every act of creation teaches your brain that you are capable of turning imagination into reality. And once your nervous system understands that, everything changes. So if you find yourself in a season where your old identity is dissolving and your new one is trying to emerge, I've created something for you. It's called The In-Between. It's a guide designed to help you recognize the patterns, the shifts, and the truth your soul is already moving you towards. You can download it below. And if this video resonated with you, subscribe. We talk a lot here about identity, becoming, and the art of creating yourself with purpose. I'll see you in the next one.